Good evening, I'm Ces Orenia Drilon.
And I'm Pauline Berzosa.
The big stories tonight. The independent commission that will investigate the flood control mess is complete. And President Marcos says no one will be spared.
And a week into his leadership, Senate President Tito Sotto finds himself the target of criticism among some members of the minority bloc. There is also a report of efforts to unseat him.
And at the House of Representatives, talks of a coup are not dying down as well. A neophyte congressman wants to be House Speaker, but more seasoned lawmakers believe he is simply not fit for the job.
Don't politicize this. Simple lang to. Magkano ang ninakaw na pera ng mga balasubas na ito? If I wasn't president, I might be out in the streets with them. I'm angry. We should all be angry. Sigawan ninyo, mag-demonstrate. Just keep it peaceful.
The Independent Commission for Infrastructure is finally complete. It's a 4-person panel, 1 chief, 2 members, and a special advisor. For Malacanang, it's one lean and mean team. President Bongbong Marcos is trumpeting the team's credibility and competence to handle a flood control probe that will have no sacred cows. Mobile journalist Julie Baisa with tonight's big story.
President Bongbong Marcos has found a head for the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, which he himself created. Retired Supreme Court Associate Justice Andres Reyes Jr. This is the third-party fact-finding panel formed by Marcos to handle the investigation into alleged anomalies in flood control projects. The chief executive vouches for the credibility and competence of the ICI's head.
He was a presiding judge of the Court of Appeals before. He has been a jurist for a very, very long time with a very good record of honesty and fairness, and a good record of being able to find justice for those who have been victimized.
Reyes was appointed by former President Rodrigo Duterte to the Supreme Court in 2017. He retired in 2020. On the President's birthday, September 13th, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro announced members of the Independent Commission. One is Rogelio Babe Singson, who served as Public Works Secretary during the administration of the late President Noynoy Aquino. The palace trumpeted Singson's technical understanding of how projects are designed, procured, and implemented, which is crucial to the work of the Commission. Singson's co-member is Rosana Fajardo, an accountant and country managing partner with SGV and Company. Malacanang believes Fajardo can bring to the table her decades-long expertise in identifying weaknesses in financial systems and operational processes.
The President has appointed individuals of proven competence, integrity, and deep familiarity with infrastructure, finance, and institutional reform.
The President also appointed Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong as a special advisor to the ICI. The palace clarified that Magalong will only be working as a consultant after it announced that the Independent Commission will not have a government official. President Marcos believes Magalong is a valuable addition to the panel without giving up his post as Baguio City leader.
The reason he became a special advisor is because he would have had to give up his mayoralship, take on this position. So he chose to keep his mayorship. I don't blame him. But nonetheless, we can use his talents. Investigador naman talaga si Mayor Benji. Kung maalala ninyo, he was the one who wrote, as CIDG head, he was the one who wrote the seminal report on the Mama Sapano incident. He has integrity. So marami siyang mako-contribute.
But former Senator Sonny Trillanes is questioning the neutrality of Magalong, claiming that the Baguio City Mayor is a protector and ally to former President Rodrigo Duterte and his supporters. But Magalong is promising to be impartial.
Problema nga sa flood control projects, talagang nationwide. Kaya kailangan namin puntahan as investigator, kailangan nandun ka mismo sa site, bibisitahin mo talaga at mag-inspect ka.
President Marcos agrees that politics cannot interfere with the ICI's duty to ferret out the truth, especially when it comes to flood control contracts.
That's what we wanted to do. Remove it from politics. Don't politicize this. It's simple numbers dito. Simple lang to. Magkano ang ninakaw na pera ng mga balasubas na ito? That's what we need to know. That's what we need to fix.
One of the politicians being tagged in flood control issues is Marcos's own cousin, House Speaker Martin Romualdez. As for the president, the ICI will spare no one.
Well, there's only one way to do it, isn't there? They will not be spared.
All right.
Anybody will say, hindi, wala tayong kinikilingan, wala tayong tinutulungan. Wala namang maniniwala sa'yo hanggat gawin mo eh. So, gagawin namin.
Now, how do you feel about the alleged corruption in flood control contracts? Well, if you are enraged by it, President Marcos says go ahead and express your sentiment. In the same press conference where he announced the chairperson of the newly created Independent Commission for Infrastructure, Marcos says he understands and supports the public anger over the flood control mess. The chief executive, however, encouraged everyone who are joining protest actions to keep it peaceful.
If I wasn't president, I might be out in the streets with them. Of course, they are enraged. Of course, they're angry. I'm angry. We should all be angry. So, yes, express it. You come, you make your feelings known. Palaman ninyo ang sentimento, palaman ninyo kung paano nila kayo sinaktan. Kung paano kayo ninakawan itong mga ito. Sigawan ninyo, lahat, gawin ninyo, mag-demonstrate. Just keep it peaceful.
Over the past several days, various groups have staged protest actions amid ongoing probes into flood control projects in both houses of Congress. These are relatively smaller compared to the anti-corruption protests in other parts of the world like Nepal, Indonesia, and even France. But outrage over the issue has been growing online, with influencers, the church, business executives, and other personalities expressing dismay. Mass protests are being planned on Sunday, September 21, the anniversary of the declaration of martial law by the president's late father, Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Around 200 groups and thousands of people will be joining the Trillion Peso March at the People Power Monument in the afternoon, while the group Artikulo 11 will be holding their rally at Luneta Park in the morning.
Nasa boiling point na yung galit ng taong bayan. Bumubulwak na ang galit.
Pakita po natin na sobra na yung ginagawa ng ating mga nasa pwesto. Hindi natapos yung korupsyon sa PDAP scam eh.
Patalsikin yung mga tao na may kasalanan. Hindi na kaya ng simpleng pagpapatalsik, paggawa ng batas ulit, lalo nang hindi kaya kung simpleng lifestyle check dahil ang kakapal ng muka ng mga magnanakaw.
The PNP has advised organizers to secure the necessary permits ahead of the September 21 protests. The AFP, for its part, is also on red alert. And to talk about this, we have Armed Forces spokesperson Colonel Francel Padilla joining us tonight. Good evening, Colonel. Welcome to The Big Story.
Good evening, Pauline and Cez, and good evening to all of your viewers.
All right, so you are on red alert anticipating in the lead up to the September 21 protests. Ano
Yes,
po ang
ma'am.
concern? What's the reason for the red alert?
We declared red alert since 12 September, ma'am. No? This is actually a precautionary measure. So with this one, it is a standard security protocol for us, meaning that we have full manning in our camps ready for any eventuality.
You know, the president said that if he were not president, even he would join the rallies.
Yes, ma'am, no, and we stand by with this pronouncement with our commander-in-chief. So with us, we are encouraging a peaceful assembly for this, and let the rule of law take its course.
There have been calls as well for the withdrawal of support, which happens in any protest against the government. What is the AFP's reaction or stand on these calls?
Well, for that, ma'am, no, we respect the right to assemble, being the cornerstone of our democracy. But this right comes with the responsibility to remain peaceful. So we urge everyone to ensure po, no, that all the actions are conducted with respect to the law and public order. With us in the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we assure the public po that we are united and we are professional. And our allegiance stands to our Constitution and to our flag.
Well, Colonel, there is also unrest in other parts of the world, anti-corruption protests, such as in Nepal and Indonesia, even France. Is the AFP monitoring what's also happening in the other side of the world? And are you prepared for an eventuality like that?
Well, that is all part of our mandate for national security po, no? But for all of this that is happening, now is the time po for sobriety and constructive dialogue, not confrontation. So we call on all leaders po, no, and our citizens to work together to find solutions that will strengthen our nation and not tear it apart. So we look at all of this that's happening, but we are also looking at our nation that will become united and follow the rule of law.
And Colonel, thousands are expected to join these protests happening on September 21. Are you also coordinating with the organizers?
With that, ma'am, that is the primary mandate of the Philippine National Police. For us in the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we are in a supporting role in terms of being the support of the Philippine National Police in terms of law enforcement and peace and order. So our focus is still on our national security as we also face one of the biggest challenge, no, also that we are facing, which is territorial defense operations.
Going back to calls for a withdrawal of support by the AFP, are there any unrest that the AFP has monitored within the ranks?
Within the ranks, there is zero, zero na monitor po namin in terms of internally na meron pong ganito. So we assure the public po that the Armed Forces of the Philippines remain a professional organization and we are united.
But externally, Colonel, what are these specific politically motivated attempts that the AFP and the DND cited, calling them as futile and irresponsible?
For that, ma'am, no, we have been monitoring what's happening, no? And as I said, internally po, wala po tayong nakikita po na meron na any unrest in terms of our ranks. And with that, we're looking at, of course, kung ano po yung role ng PNP. The AFP plays a supporting role para po makita po natin, no, na as one kami for this pagpapakita ng right po ng bawat Pilipino for freedom of speech and kung ano po yung gusto nilang saloobin, mailabas po natin peacefully sa mga ganito pong sitwasyon.
Kung ganun, bakit po kinailangan mag-issue ng statement ang DND at ang AFP ukol sa mga pwedeng magsamantala or kung merong ano ba yung tinutukoy nila? Bakit po kinailangan magbigay ng statement kung sinasabi niyong zero unrest?
Well, basically po, ma'am, no, we stand by our commander-in-chief. At ito naman po, ang ating mismong presidente po ang nagsalita, no, na nag-ignite po nitong mga investigations na to. So with us, of course, down the line and down the ranks po, we support po our commander-in-chief with this pronouncement po.
Colonel, at the same time, the AFP also underscored its support for the President's anti-corruption campaign. Ano ba talaga yung magiging role ng AFP dito?
So basically, ma'am, no, we view the People's Assembly po as a vibrant exercise of our democracy. So ito pong expression of this sentiment shows that civil society is engaged, and this is a sign po of a healthy and functioning republic. So for us po, we stand with the Filipino people in this shared desire, no, for a transparent and accountable government. So we see ourselves po as partners in building a nation founded in integrity and trust.
And what is your message, Colonel, para sa mga kababayan natin who are afraid that there could be unrest, there could be destabilization happening in the next few days?
Well, sa ating mga kababayan po, no, rest assured po na nandito po ang anyong Armed Forces of the Philippines para po sa aming mandato to protect the people and secure the state. And with this po, no, we are supporting the Philippine National Police in peace and order and ito pong law enforcement operations. So, tinitingnan po natin ito as a healthy exercise po of freedom of speech. And sinusuportahan po namin itong ganito basta po ito ay nasa tama po, no, in the right forum and under the rule of law.
All right, we thank you for your time, Colonel Margaret Padilla of the AFP.
In related news, 3 public works officials have been formally dismissed from service. They are former DPWH Assistant District Engineer Bryce Erickson Hernandez, Construction Section Chief JP Mendoza, and Accountant Juanito Mendoza. According to the Public Works Department, these officials from the now infamous Bulacan 1st District were found guilty of grave misconduct, gross neglect of duty, and other offenses. The penalty includes perpetual disqualification from public office. Meanwhile, Hernandez has been returned to his detention room at the Senate. According to Senate President Tito Soto, this is a response to the writ of amparo petition filed by Hernandez's camp due to alleged death threats. Recall that Hernandez got cited in contempt when he faced the hearing of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. Senators said after he allegedly lied about his playing in the casino. Thereafter, he was allowed to testify in the House Infrastructure Committee hearing, where he dropped the bomb about Senators Jinggoy Estrada and Joel Villanueva allegedly receiving kickbacks in flood control projects. Both senators have declined the accusations, insinuating that there could be ulterior motives behind these. In his privileged speech earlier, Estrada even lamented how the entire upper chamber is now affected by the testimony of Hernandez, who he called a habitual liar.
Bakit nung nag-hearing ang Blue Ribbon Committee po, noong si Congressman Marcoleta pang chairman ng Blue Ribbon, nagbanggit si Diskaya, ilang congressman ang involved sa korupsyon. Pagdating nung kinabukasan, hindi na front page, hindi masyadong pinag-usapan. Nung si Bryce Hernandez na, nagbanggit ng 2 senador, front page na kaagad kami. Kahit hindi totoo yung sinasabi niya, na walang basihan. 30% commission daw. I'm sorry, strike out from the record. Bakit panay senador lang ang gusto nilang ipako sa krus? Bakit yung mga ibang mga politiko? Dahil porket masikat kami? Hindi naman yata tama yun. Pare-pareho lang tayo nasa gobyerno. Pare-pareho lang tayo naninilbihan dito.
Meantime, today's Senate session saw Senate President Tito Soto defending himself from minority senators. This emanated from his alleged violation of the Senate rules in acceding to Speaker Martin Romualdez's call not to detain former Assistant District Engineer Bryce Hernandez at the Senate. Senator Bato de la Rosa initially questioned Soto for his supposed gimmick comment about the minority flagging the Senate President over his decision. Soto immediately answered this from the rostrum.
Being the Senate President, we hope that you are going to take care of not only the majority, because you're not the majority leader, you're the Senate President, and we hope that the majority and the minority will be taken care of by the leadership of the Senate. Ang Senado po, hindi po ito noon-time TV show na puro gimmick ang ating tinitik up dito. Ang kinasama lang ng loob namin is bakit kailangan pang patayin kami sa sama ng loob.
When I said mamatay sila na sama ng loob, we were addressing the trolls. And parang sinisita mo yung Senate President, which is very unparliamentary. But nevertheless, I will answer you. Whenever I am asked, I come out with my opinion. You don't like my opinion, but you have to respect it. In much the same way as I respect your opinion, whatever it is. And when I say those things, you should not feel alluded to. Wala naman akong binanggit na pangalan eh.
Senate Minority Leader Alan Peter Cayetano chimed in, saying that while it is unparliamentary to argue with a presiding officer, there's nothing wrong with asking the Senate President some questions. Cayetano also said they were not consulted about the decision.
Ang problema nga po, hindi naman po simpleng request to ng Speaker of the House eh. Yung mismong witness, siya nasusunod eh. Sinabi niya dun sa House eh, wag niyo na ako ibalik sa Senate, hindi siya binalik. So yes, initially, the issue was not where. The issue is not where to detain him. The issue is who has authority and ano ang rules natin.
Before this, talk of Soto's ouster surfaced over the weekend. But the Senate majority was quick to dispel the rumors, holding a lunch caucus and sharing snapshots to the media. Soto did admit, though, that the rumored coup was brought up in the meeting. Soto was rumored to be replaced by Minority Leader Alan Peter Cayetano. Senate President pro tempore Panfilo Lacson shrugged off this as fakey breaking news. Cayetano himself said there is still no talk with the minority on a possible leadership change, but quipped that this is always a possibility.
No comment. Of course, you know, the Senate President is always in office because of the trust and confidence of his colleagues. We serve at the pleasure of our colleagues. So if there are majority of the members of the Senate who want a different Senate President, what can we do? So be it.
But is the majority solid, sir, by now?
Yes, I think so. We were together at lunch.
Ngayon, siyam kami. O, pag lumapit sa amin, 4, ang sinabing majority namin, tatanggihan namin. O, tatanggihan namin. Ate ko, parati kong kausap. O, tinanong niya, may possibility ba? Kung may possibility, o ikaw ba? Hindi pa naman nag-uusap-usap eh.
Meanwhile, new committee chairmanships were announced today for members of the minority. The Committee on Banks and Financial Institutions and Currencies went to Senator Joel Villanueva. Civil Service, Government Reorganization, and Professional Regulation was retained with Senator Bato de la Rosa. Cultural Communities and Muslim Affairs, as well as Public Information and Mass Media, went to Senator Robin Padilla. Meanwhile, the Committee on Sports went to Senator Bongo. Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship went to Senator Rodante Marcoleta, while Urban Planning, Housing, and Resettlement now has Senator Cheese Escudero at the helm. Senator Bongo also now has the Committee on Youth, while Senator Amy Marcos has retained chairmanship of the Foreign Relations Committee. Meantime, local government went to Senator Jinggoy Estrada. We're just going to take a quick break, but coming up on the big story, a neophyte congressman is facing an ethics complaint for the way he tried to garner support for his speakership bid. That story and more when we return. Keep it here on One News.
You're watching the big story here on One News. The National Unity Party says it will file an ethics complaint against its resigned member, Cavite 4th District Representative Kiko Barsaga. NUP Chair and Deputy Speaker Ronaldo Puno said Barsaga breached the House Code of Conduct. That's by using his personal social media accounts to attack government institutions instead of reflecting credibility as required of lawmakers. The party also cited violations of Republic Act 6713 or the Code of Conduct for Public Officials, pointing to the congressman's posts described as obscene, abusive, and meant to undermine public trust. Puno even presented some of the content, further arguing the posts may violate the revised penal code.
The Committee on Ethics and Privileges will tell us what is their take on what is inciting to sedition. If it is, and if what this congressman is doing constitutes inciting to sedition, then they have to sanction the congressman, do whatever they think. Huwag niyo sunugin ang House of Representatives bukas, may privilege speech pa ako sa Lunes. Okay. Nakakatawa, di ba? Kaya lang, this is said in the context of Nepal. Okay? It's said in the context of Nepal. And alam niyo yung nangyari sa Nepal. Sinunog yung House of Representatives. Di ba? O wag niyo munang gayahin yung Nepal kasi after Monday na lang. To me, that is inciting to something. Good news, mapapalitan si Speaker Romualdez. This week, bad news, si Sandro ang magpapalit. What is this? Tirahin niya si Secretary Dizon, tirahin niya si Secretary John Vic, yung mga cabinet members. This is not respect. It is not even disrespect. You know, it is crazy.
While Puno said he would not speculate on the resigned NUP member's mental health, he said Barsaga's mother, Dasmariñas Mayor Jenny Barsaga, has appealed that her son be given fewer responsibilities in the House. The mayor even cited her son's, quote, unethical behavior online. Meantime, in response to the party's allegations, Barsaga wrote on Facebook that Puno was mistaken, saying he was calling for peace. Congressman Kiko added that the deputy speaker was too detached from ordinary people to understand the lengths an oppressed citizen would go to seek justice. Well, now that several congressmen, including the House Speaker himself, have been implicated in flood control project kickbacks, Navotas City Representative Toby Tiangco is calling for a total overhaul of the House leadership. Let's discuss this with Congressman who's right here on the set with us. Good evening, Congressman. Paano ginagawa ang total overhaul?
No, first of all, there was a context to that statement.
Okay.
No? I was asked in one interview, in Karen Davidi's interview, if dapat ba magkaroon ng change ng leadership. No? And I said, kwento ko yung nangyari, I'll be, talk to me the previous Saturday and ask me if I was interested. And I told him, wag na lang, siya na lang. No? And I was saying, if magkakaroon ng change of leadership, hindi pa pwedeng yung position lang ng speaker ang papalitan. Di ba? I mean, pag speaker lang ang pinalitan, what does it mean to us? Di ba? So, dapat magkaroon ng overhaul doon sa change. So, it was in that context na kung may changes, hindi pa pwedeng speaker lang.
But of course, if there's a new speaker, there will be new committee chairs.
No. It's not automatic. It depends on the motion presented on the floor. Kung ang motion is to declare the seat of the speaker vacant, then that's the only vacancy.
Because that was the mode that is being thought of
No,
now.
or ang gagawin ba is to declare all positions vacant. Ako naman, I don't think that all committees have to be changed, no? Siguro yung mga sensitive committees, tsaka yung mga deputy speakers, siguro.
And those who have been linked to
Yes.
the flood control mess.
Yes. Yun yung tingin ko, no?
Yeah. But, well, today apparently, 80% of the House attended. Thinking something is going to happen today. But
Hindi naman. Mataas naman talaga attendance doon sa House, di ba?
hindi ko alam.
Not on a Monday daw kung eh.
No. Just to correct you, the highest attendance is on a Monday. The highest attendance is on a Monday.
So it's not unusual that 80% attended.
No.
Okay. But
I think they just noticed it Kasi siguro yung iba nagpuntahan sa plenary because if you will recall, sabay yung budget hearings, di ba? So most of them are in the budget hearings at doon sila nag-attend. Pero they're considered present. Siguro nagulat lang yung mga nanonood na mas marami ang nasa session hall ngayon. For what reason, I don't know. Maybe nga, they thought that there was going to
Something
be
will happen,
some excitement.
But Kong Toby, why not lead this total overhaul that you are pushing for? Your name...
Why not me?
Yes. You
No,
said you declined.
I already said twice. This is the third time siguro, or fourth time I will say. If it were before the SONA, I would have accepted it. No, but now, out of delicadeza, sinabi ko na, I cannot accept it because I'm already put in a situation wherein people will doubt, why did they come out with this? Imagine, kunyari, ako yung binotong speaker and I accept it. Sabihin nila, ay kaya mo pala ginawa yan, gusto maging speaker,
Hindi,
no?
para nga magka-reforma. Can you reform a system by not having some kind of leadership? Can you do
Tutulong
it?
na lang ako.
So who would you want to be speaker, Congressman? Sino ang mga front-runners ngayon?
Manami, puro kaibigan ko yun eh. Of course, first...
You said you were speaking to Kong Albi.
Yeah, Kong Albi at first, di ba? So, Kong Albi is one option. I think there are other options.
Is there a situation where Speaker Romualdez will just relinquish his position
Pwede,
because he
can
wants to protect the integrity or, you know, because the House, sirang-sira ng pangalan ng House.
But I think some of the members don't think so. Di ba? There's press statements that 90% support him, di ba? So, tama ka, they have to feel the reality na hindi lang sira, galit yung tao.
You mean hindi pa nila alam yon?
Hindi. Yung mga kausap ko, alam nila, pero di ba may mga releases na, ang sinasabi ko, dapat maramdaman nila na hindi lang sira yung house. Iba yung sira yung image ng house eh. Iba yung galit yung tao. Diba?
Galit ang tao.
Umabot na dun sa punto na galit yung tao. No? So si Albi naman, that's why I told him siya na lang, kasi siya yung kasama ko doon sa independence. No? Remember when we didn't vote for Speaker Martin Romualdez, tatlo kami nagsabi ng kung anong dahilan. And it was all the same. It was the 2025 budget. No?
Sino na nga yung pangatlo?
Duke. Duke.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, wait. Are you going to be in the protest on September 21?
No, I'll fight within the system. You know, I'm in the system, so I'll be there. I'll try to fight it out within the system.
You mentioned that these insertions immediately after the SONA of the president were made by those responsible are the speaker and...
No, I said Congressman Saldico. They asked me kung alam ba ni speaker yan. Sabi ko, si Saldico makakasagot nun. Because there are two opportunities to make insertions. One is the small committee. Yun sa House pa lang yun. Wala pang senador yun. Then the next one is the BICAM. Yung sa small committee, 4 na tao lang. So sabi ko yun lang. And that's the reason why I was asking the minutes of the meeting or the committee report of the small committee, which up to now, wala na. So wala na talaga yun. It's only Saldico who knows what happened.
So you're saying may lusot pa si Speaker Romualdez dyan?
Depende kay Saldi, di ba? Anong sasabihin niya? Nagpaalam ba siya? Tinago ba niya kay Speaker?
Can he do something without the Speaker's knowledge? Of course not, right?
Let's see what he will say.
Isn't the...
But of course, I mean, some people could argue that that's command responsibility, di ba?
Isn't the system supposedly where the leaders get a cut out of the projects they give out to the districts and the contractors and the DPWH district engineers? Isn't that the system?
Yun yung sinasabi ni Mayor Magalong, no? But this is my 5th term in Congress. It didn't used to be that way. It didn't used to be that way.
But there's already been the PDAF, there's already been the fertilizer scam.
Okay, yung PDAF, what was declared illegal there was the identification of the projects after the budget has come out. Di ba kaya naging line item siya?
Okay.
Kasi natatandaan ko, nung may PDAF, nakasulat lang, kunyari, I think it was 50 or 70 million per district. But the projects were not identified. So the Supreme Court...
Dinaan sa mga foundation.
Hindi. Iba yun. Yung sinasabi mo yata is the...
fertilizer.
Fertilizer,
okay,
no?
Okay.
But I wasn't congressman pa nung fertilizer. Yung sinasabi ko, yung PDAF, kaya siya dineclare unconstitutional Kasi hindi nakasulat
item.
yung item. So nangyayari, nagkakaroon ng post-enactment. Yan yung sinasabi ng Supreme Court na hindi
not
ba pwede.
allowed
Oo,
by-
so ang ginawa naman namin, ang reform na ginawa namin, lahat ng proyekto naka-line item, di ba? Ang masama ngayon is, yun nga, yung sinasabi ni Mayor Magalong, na nagkakaroon ng 20% yung Committee on Appropriations.
All the way up to the speaker, supposedly.
Yeah, but it was never like that before. It was never like that before.
But Congressman Toby, what's a direct link? Because you
Yeah.
did present before the Senate that you discovered it was in the BICAM level that Congressman Zaldico is the proponent of 13 billion pesos of
13.8
insertions.
billion, di ba?
Correct.
Oo.
But what's next? Ano yung magli-link na
Oo nga.
it resulted in kickbacks, commitments?
Okay, ganito na lang.
How will that be proven?
Okay, ganito na lang ha. First of all, again, in-explain ko, di ba kami congressman, hihingi kami ng proyekto para sa lugar namin. Yung mga congressman na napuntahan nun, kausap ko ulit kanina. Sinasabi nila, hindi talaga nila hiningi yun.
Sagasa ba, Congressman, or parking?
Hindi, sabi nila sagasa.
Mga terms ngayon no?
Hindi, kasi yung parking, kakausapin ka. Ito, hindi ka kakausapin whether you like it or not.
So wala kang kamuwang-muwang na gamit yung distrito mo.
Under normal circumstances, matutuwa ka. Di ba, sino naman ayaw na mas marami, uy, ang daming biyaya dito sa distrito. Pero syempre, kung nakita mo na substandard, ghost, tapos ikaw na yung pinagbibintangan ngayon, hindi mo magagawin yan.
Kaya nga,
Tsaka
paano
highly
mo-
irregular eh.
Paano mo matitrace nga na
The insertion.
yung link
Okay,
doon
very
sa
easy.
mga...
Very easy.
Okay.
Very easy. Just ask Congressman Saldico, what made you think that you have to put projects there? Sino nag-request ng project na yan? Di ba? Kasi kung wala nag-request, bakit mo nilagyan? Hindi logical eh.
Wala bang congressman nakakanta?
Na,
Aamin.
siyempre sa ngayon, wala. I think that's one of the reasons. That's why they're worried about a leadership change. I think the reason why they're worried about a leadership change is kasi ngayon takot yung mga congressman.
They feel they're being protected.
No. Yung congressman hindi magsasalita ng alam nila kasi pwede silang balikan. So kung
I see,
di ba?
I see what you mean.
So kaya medyo worried sila sa leadership change. Ang tingin ko, pag nagkaroon ng leadership change, alam nila magsasalita yung mga congressman.
Congressman, when you say babalikan, mata-target, what does that entail?
Yeah.
Para
What
lang
do you mean?
specific tayo, Kong.
Hindi, yung ang gagawin nila is yung...
Alam mo, we're talking in
Pondo.
riddles kasi.
No. Yung pondo.
Sige.
Yung pondo.
Okay. Mawawalan sila.
Hindi, for example, yung soft, di ba? Yung AX,
Oo nga, mawawala sa kanila.
Yes,
Wala
yung
na
medical.
silang... You see, yan ang reform na kailangan, deep reform. Kasi this is what a speaker does. You give, magbumudmud ka ng mga pabor
No, that's what I've said, di ba?
para kontrolado mo sila.
Yes.
Oh.
So, di ba sinabi ko yan na hindi dapat ganyan. And that was declared unconstitutional. Hindi siya pwede.
Okay.
Dapat yan, pagpunta sa executive, yung secretary ang magde-determine which district needs what.
Yeah.
Dapat ganyan.
Yeah, pero it's in cahoots also with the executive eh.
No, they're not in cahoots. They're also scared. Because come budget, babalik ka dun eh. Kung hindi ka sumunod, o paano mangyayari sa next budget? Di ba, imagine if this was not exposed, 3 years yan nagagawa ni Saldi. Takot, alam mo, takot talaga yung, pati cabinet secretary, takot sila.
Na
hindi, pati yung budget nila.
makakat,
Oo.
mawawala.
Yes.
So, who's calling the shots? It's not executive.
What do you mean?
I mean, who's in control of the government? Who's running the government?
No, of course, the executive, di ba?
But you said, takot yung mga sekretary.
It's because of the perception. It's because of the perception, di ba? It's the perception na si Saldi is very close to Speaker and the Speaker is the cousin.
So where is he now? It's the
Who?
cousin of the
The
president.
president.
Yeah,
But I
Saldico.
can assure you, walang...
You're also the cousin of the
No,
president.
I'm just the cousin-in-law. Hindi pa si Presidente, wala talaga siyang alam dyan. I am sure.
Why are you so sure?
Why am I so sure?
Yeah, what makes you so sure? Why will we believe you?
Because there was one private conversation. Sinabi niya in front of me, wala akong alam dyan.
Kaya ba niyang sanggain ang kanyang pinsan?
Sorry, I had to say this, Mr. President, because, you know, that's the truth.
Kaya ba niyang sanggain ang kanyang...
What do you mean?
I mean, if it goes all the way up to the speaker, who is his cousin, will he, you know, throw the book at him?
He already said earlier. It's very clear. Categorically, he said.
Will the committee be able to get the evidence? Or the commission, the independent commission, will that commission be able to go to the root?
Yes. Because it's very simple. Just ask Saldico, papaano nalagay yung, di ba, papaano napunta yung proyekto dyan? Hindi rin-request ng congressman. Rin-request ba ng DPWH? O ngayon, kung ni-request ng DPWH, tanungin natin yung DPWH, bakit mo ni-request yan doon sa lugar na yun? So it's just either Saldico or the DPWH. Wala na ibang pupuntahan yan eh.
But, you know, si dating Secretary Bonoan, it appears his daughter was also a contractor. And the president had put his confidence in him for so long until, you know, he had to be taken out.
No, I don't have any personal knowledge about that.
Why,
I don't have any personal knowledge about that.
You know, protect him?
But I spoke to Secretary Bonoan before all this happened. Sabi ko, okay, we will reform the House. But there must be also reform
in the executive, yes, within the DP.
Within the DP. And he agreed. He asked me my suggestions. I told him what I thought was wrong. And he was very open about it.
But he may be also liable for certain actions, right?
I don't really know, sorry. He says. Hindi ko kabisado kung ano yung nangyari doon. Tsaka hindi ko alam kung ano yung mga accusations sa kanya.
So, Kong Toby, what do you make of the composition now of this independent commission on infrastructure? You have former Supreme Court Justice Andy Reyes at the helm. You also have former...
Yes, very high integrity.
Do you think they can get to the bottom of this and people will be held accountable? Ano ba yung endgame dito para sa inyo, Kong?
Hindi, endgame. Isa lang naman endgame natin lahat, di ba? Kung ano yung totoo, yun
lumabas.
ang lumabas, di ba?
Makasuhan, may makulong.
Si Babe Singson, I was congressman during the time that he was DPWH secretary. Takot yung mga ano nun. Takot yung mga...
Congressman sa kanya.
Hindi, yung mga district engineer, yung DPWH.
No, and he was able to tame the greed of the congressmen.
No,
in a way to put...
Okay. That's what
I may put it in those words.
That's what I was going to suggest, no? Na yung formula niya, may formula siya kasi na ginawa noon, na nababantayan niya yung costing. Yung costing. Yung costing
kalidad ng proyekto.
Pero mas importante kasi yung costing, di ba? Paano kasi...
Bibigyan mo sila ng konti.
Hindi. Ibig sabihin, paano na... Di ba ngayon, paano umabot sa...
Yung mga markup.
Markup, di ba?
Yes.
So parang titignan natin, baka yung iba kaya ginagawang substandard kasi sobrang laki nung hinihingi doon sa contractor, di ba?
Ibig kong sabihin, may konting ganansya yung congressman.
Hindi yung congressman. Ibig sabihin, yung contractor, kung maayos naman yung gawa niya at walang ghost project, negosyante yon, dapat kumita yon.
Pero
okay,
may
diba?
commission din yung congressman eh.
Hindi, kahit sino sa gobyerno, DPWH, congressman, walang karapatan yun na kumuha ng komisyon, di ba?
Okay,
walang karapatan yun na kumuha ng
wala
komisyon.
talaga, pero minsan, alam mo yon, you turn the other eye because, you turn a blind eye because alam mong may konti.
No, we have to limit the opportunity
to
do these things.
How can we do that? Or remove it? Remove it completely.
Yeah, you remove it. You remove it by limiting the opportunity, di ba?
Bring down the cost.
As long as the opportunity, hanggat nandiyan yung oportunidad, susubok eh. So dapat sikipan mo yung oportunidad. Yun ang ginawa ni Sec Babe Singson noon. He can explain it. May tinatawag silang dupa noon eh. Ano ba
there was a formula that he used. That he applied to everybody.
Yes.
Para walang aangal na may pinaburan.
Di ba? So, yun, talagang na control. So walang mangangahas na magbenta ng proyekto kasi hindi kikitain eh.
Okay. Pero tukuyin naman natin yung, because now, what is happening is parang walang malinis ang kamay. So naakusahan kayo na meron kayong in-identify na projects in your district.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. If you can address that.
Okay, thank you for asking that. No, lahat kaming congressman, we want more projects sa aming distrito.
Yeah.
Di ba pag kampanya, open din naman sinasabi, magdadala kami mas maraming proyekto dito. So every budget naman, humihingi ako, and this is in writing, di ba pinakita ko sa Senate, humingi ako ng 1.291 billion pesos ng extra projects for Navotas. Ang naibigay is 529 na.
Half a billion.
529. But hindi ko insertion yon kasi hindi ako pwede mag-insert kasi hindi naman ako miyembro ng BICAM.
Hiningi mo sa DPW?
Hindi, hiningi ko sa BICAM.
Okay.
Hiningi ko sa BICAM. So yun yung na-approve ng BICAM. So,
So,
transparent
open.
yun.
Okay.
May sulat
Pero yung contractor,
Okay, sinasabi nila, unang-una sinasabi nila yung St. Timothy and ano ba yung isa?
Basta sa Discayas.
Hindi, yung Sims hindi Diskaya. Yung Sims
St.
yung
Timothy.
na-accuse na may ghost project doon sa Bulacan. Okay? Sabi nila, nung una, yung St. Timothy tsaka yung Sims, ang nakakuha out of the 529. So upon checking, so syempre nag-check na ako, yung St. Timothy, hindi siya nakakuha doon sa 529. Nakakuha siya doon sa regular budget. Doon sa nasa NEP na talaga. Then I asked my district engineer, kamusta ba yung proyekto na yan? Okay. Yung Sims naman, chinek ko yung present project is 85% complete. Yung St. Timothy, nakasuspend yung tatlong proyekto because yung isang flood control project, may gusto silang ipadagdag, so sinuspend. Yung second is phase 2, so you cannot do it until tapos yung phase 1.
Okay.
Yung isa is not flood control, it's a bridge na completion na hindi pa naman tapos, no?
So
yung first phase. So, wala. And this is the first time na nagtanong ako sa DE, sa district engineer, kung sino yung mga contractor. Kasi nung nakita ko yung 15 pangalan, naging curious.
Yeah.
But never before have I asked, no? And this is the most important thing. Di ba sinasabi ni Mayor Magalong, nagsisimula pa lang yan doon sa pag-identify ng district engineer. Yung district engineer sa Malabon Navotas ngayon used to be the assistant district engineer.
okay.
Yung pinalitan niyang district engineer used to be the assistant district engineer also. So ibig sabihin, hindi kami namimili ng district engineer kung sino yung next in rank. Yun ang pinapabayaan namin.
Alright.
So hindi kami nakikialam dun sa proyekto.
Oh,
And I
sige.
said openly na pag okay na yung independent commission, we're offering Navotas to be audited.
How long should they finish this job? Because people are angry.
Ano ko, mahirap yan.
Oh.
Mahirap
Pero
yan. Hindi yan
anong-
madalian.
Before the end of the year?
I just don't know kung magmi-meet ba sila everyday o magmi-meet ba sila...
But yeah, to be able to assuage the anger of the public.
Hindi, ako, no? I mean, I'm not teaching them what to do. This is just my opinion. Siguro yung mga na-identify na, di ba? Yung mga napuntahan na, siguro yun ang dapat
Nilang unahin.
kasi yun may ebidensya na, di ba? Tingin ko.
Well, you see this tension in the House has led to some pretty bizarre behavior. What can you say about the attempt of Congressman Barsaga to, become House Speaker, and now an ethics investigation into his actuations? Well, millennial siya, I guess he thought that was a way to express his...
Kanina, he went around the plenary and introduced himself to everyone, saying that he
wants to be
speaker.
Asking for your
Including you,
signature?
Congressman?
No, he just introduced himself. No, during the weekend naman, he was texting me and I was giving him some
tips,
some advice na. First, he asked me yata if I was joining the rally last Saturday. So parang sabi ko, hindi. And then he had some, he wanted to do some things. I told him, let's just talk sa plenary. I'm trying to, those young congressmen who come into Congress, when they ask naman my advice, not only him, I try to guide them naman and give them advice. So it's not only him, it's...
there are a lot of neophyte congressmen, di ba?
Yeah.
They might be the votes that can, turn the tide. Hindi yung mga Nepo babies.
Hindi naman. Hindi
You know, on
naman.
the lighter side, I wanted to ask about your son.
Oh.
Because, di ba yung
Oh,
mga
yeah.
Nepo baby,
Oh.
nagagalit.
No, and viral ngayon
Oo,
sa
pero natutuwa sila sa anak mo. Ano masasabi mo?
Puro kalokohan. Puro kalokohan. Ang kulit. Ang kulit. Kahit nung bata pa yun, makulit. Di ko alam dahil ba only child or...
Isa lang siya.
Yeah,
Uniko.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
makulit.
All right. But you have to change things for your son.
What do you mean?
For the
You don't
future,
want him to
yeah.
inherit this kind of system of politics and corruption.
Does he want to go to politics?
We haven't spoken about it, but I don't know. I don't think so. And I'd rather not.
You'd rather not?
Yeah. I'd rather not. Same as when I entered, my father didn't want me to enter. Because I'm the first politician in our family. There's no politician before me.
But your brother is also a politician.
No, that was the second time my father got mad at me. Sabi niya, ikaw, pumasok ka dyan, nandamay ka pa ng kapatid mo. Bakit naman dinamay mo pa
Di
yung
matatawag
kapatid
ka
mo?
ng dynasty kung sakasakali.
I mean, if that's what they call it, that's what they call it. What can I do, di ba? I have to face it, di ba? Kung ang tawag na dun sa magkapatid na congressman mayor is dynasty, I have to face it. What can I do if that's what they call it, di ba?
So are you open to a measure that will rule out dynasties?
I'm open to discuss, but it always goes to this Okay, ganito. It always goes to this point wherein hindi malaman kung sinong pipiliin. For example, I'll give you a very concrete example. Kung sinabi isa lang sa pamilya ang pwede.
Tama.
How do you choose? How do you disqualify?
problema nyo na yun.
Ay, hindi pa pwede kasi hindi naman lahat. Kami ng kapatid ko, hindi kami nag-aaway. For example, there are areas na magkalaban sila ng totoo. Hindi naman gawa-gawa yung labanan nila. So how do you choose?
None of them.
No, how
I don't
can...
know. Well, the onus should not be on the family. The voters should be able to choose.
Hindi, ibig
more
sabihin,
freely.
kung isa lang ang pwedeng tumakbo, papaano, at dalawa yung tumakbo sa isang posisyon, at talagang magkalaban sila, anong batas ang gagawin natin kung papaano sila, paano pipiliin ng COMELEC, for example, kung sino yung pwede. So doon lagi nagkakaroon ng problema. Papaano pipiliin?
Pero open ka?
Open ako.
Okay.
I mean, if it becomes law, we follow, diba?
Yeah.
But honestly, syempre it's self-serving. I don't think naman we did bad, diba? Because I did not come from a dynasty.
Yeah.
I'm first generation. So yung sinasabing hindi pwedeng talunin, pwede naman eh. And there are other cases na natatalo naman nila yung
Congressman,
dynasty.
we've exceeded our time.
No, it's okay.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And well, we'll be watching the goings on at the House this week because it's brewing, right?
Let's see. It's been brewing but hindi natutuloy because pagdating na dun sa punto na pipirma,
I think you should step up to the plate, siguro. Well, we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Navotas
Thank you.
Representative Toby Tiangco.
All right, well, moving on, Acting Transportation Secretary Giovanni Lopez is putting himself and his officials in the shoes of daily commuters. This after he ordered DOTR executives to take public transport at least once a week and submit reports on their experience. Lopez said the goal is to turn first-hand struggles into concrete recommendations to improve the system. The directive takes effect on Wednesday, September 17, and will remain in force until further notice. It covers top officials, including those from the LTFRB, LTO, LRTA, as well as undersecretaries handling road and rail. Lopez himself took public transport to work this Monday morning during rush hour. And on his commute, the DOTR chief spoke with a student commuter about the new beep cards that will automatically give students a 50% discount on LRT1, LRT2, and MRT3.
Sasabi ito yung launching ng white paper. Sabado? Hindi. Sabado. Na-move na natin para at least hindi lahat ng mga estudyante weekend para Monday makapasok wala na, hindi na kayo manta. Sa lahat naman ng estasyon.
In other news, former Taguig City Mayor Lino Cayetano has fired back at his brother, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, over a comment on, quote, repentance for misconduct. This after the senator said everyone is guilty of vote buying, cheating, and lying, and that repentance is key to change. Lino disagreed, saying such statements only fuel public frustration. In a Facebook post, the former mayor said that Gen Zs and millennials are rising up because people want a decent life without being exploited. He also stressed corruption should not be normalized and called for accountability, reforms, and a new generation of leaders.
And another Cayetano is on our big picture tonight. Here is Taguig City Mayor Lani Cayetano and Makati Mayor Nancy Binay sitting side by side during the Tara Basa tutoring program at the University of Makati. President Marcos poked fun at the two, teasing them as BFF mayors or best friends forever. The chief executive was, of course, alluding to the long-running territorial dispute between the cities of Makati and Taguig. The dispute involves the jurisdiction over 10 Embo barangays, which the Supreme Court awarded to Taguig in a 2021 ruling.
So many Cayetanos in the news.
Yeah. And happy Monday.
Yeah, eventful Monday. That's the big story this Monday. Thank you for watching.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. As per usual, have a good night, everyone.
And do stay tuned because coming up next is Play-by-Play with Cheska Liton-Calao and Jot Sulit. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Yeah.
We
Happy
made it in the
Monday.
nick of time.
Yep. We're not overtime.
Yay!
We
Yeah,
were having
namin
fun
yun.
listening to you guys.
No, but you had a great episode, of course. But also, so many things happening on a Monday.
In
Also in
sports.
sports.
Also in sports.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness,
everywhere.
this weekend.
Yeah.
This weekend was jam-packed.
Yep.
But yes, how was your weekend?
How was your weekend?
Eventful.
Eventful? Ganun na lang. Eventful.
Howie, yours?
Same. Eventful.
Eventful.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Ses and Pawi.
Thank you so much, ladies of the big story. Well, tonight we've got updates from the FIVB Men's Volleyball World Championship, plus the winners of the FIBA Eurobasket.
And we've got boxing stories from a huge Terence Crawford victory to a tribute to the late, great Ricky Hatton.
I'm Jot Sulit sitting in for Andre Felix.
And I'm Cheska Liton-Calao, and here's tonight's Play-by-Play.
Ramiro, the show by Mamoy leaves it. Victor Moves puts it on. Unbelievable. Gemma on the left side.